Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Twin Island Media's pre-election live. We are continuing our series of programs focused on the 2026 general election, which is going to be held exactly a week from now, right here in Antigua and Barbuda. Across Antigua and Barbuda, thousands are going to cast their votes to determine which political party, which of the two main political parties, are going to be responsible for the governance of this country going into the next term. I can't even say for the next 5 years because we have not had a 5-year term in quite some time. Anyway, just to let you know that joining us tonight, we have two very special guests who I'm delighted to have with us. That is the Public Relations Officer of the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission, Mrs. Alyssa Graham. Oh, I saw her and then I didn't see her, so I don't know if there's a tech issue. But hopefully we'll sort that out. And also Mr. Ian Hughes. He is the supervisor of elections, and he too will be joining us tonight. And as fate would have it, there is a release that I saw on my way home, and I was able to read it in its entirety and try to digest it. And of course, I must be honest with my listeners, followers, viewers. I asked myself, what did I miss? Anyway, I'm just going to read it in part. By the way, just want to say good night to Alyssa. Good night.
Good night, Darren. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You're hearing me clearly?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm hearing you clearly. And I saw
Awesome.
Mr. Hughes sign in, but I'm not sure if he's having some challenges. So hopefully he will rejoin us in a moment.
I will check on him.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
What I'll do, I'll read
I'll check.
portions of the statement and give the listeners a sense of what the heck I'm talking about. I'm going to read this in part because it's a fairly lengthy statement and I don't want to put anyone to sleep. It is 8 o'clock after all. The Antigua and Barbuda Electoral Commission has taken note of statements made in recent media broadcasts suggesting the existence of irregularities within the ongoing voter identification card replacement program. The statements, which appear to be based on unverified sources, express concerns that some individuals may have obtained their voter identification cards through procedures that are not aligned with, sorry, I had to decline a call just now, that are not aligned with legal requirements. Sorry. ABEC considers it necessary to address these claims clearly and firmly. All right, and just in essence, to give you a sense of what the ABEC wants to convey while we wait on Mr. Hughes to join us, there are no verifiable evidence of systemic breaches at this time. The Commission says that the process requires in-person appearance with ID and verification, and it urges anyone with credible evidence to report it. I'm a little confused as to why I'm getting phone calls all of a sudden. Anyway, there's no verifiable evidence of systemic breaches at this time, and the Commission says that, urges anyone with credible evidence to report it and warns that unverified rumors can erode trust. ABEC is again urging eligible voters to complete and collect their replacement cards ahead of general elections on April 30th. And I hope I summarized that nicely. Alyssa Graham, again, good night. Is Mr. Hughes with us?
Good night. He should be.
He should be. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me start with you very quickly. What did we miss? Because I know I'm not the only one. I'm not sure. Of course, if I did not hear the specific broadcast, or if anyone did not hear the specific broadcast, they might be lost as to what this press release refers to and what compelled ABEC to put it out at this time.
Okay, so there is a particular audio that is going around that was aired on a particular radio station, whereby the individual who was describing the process insinuated that that persons were able to collect or apply for voters' identification cards to replace their cards just as that, without appearing in person, without any attempts of filling they were just given these cards. The cards were just replaced. And that voice
Okay.
note came to our attention.
Okay.
And hence the reason why we would have addressed it.
Okay. All right. So that
I
answers.
see Mr. Hughes is on.
Yes, I see Mr. Well, I see a little a box that says Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, can we see you? Good night. How are you doing? You might need to unmute your microphone. We have Mr. Ian S. Hughes. He's the supervisor of elections of Antigua and Barbuda, and he is the man responsible for the conduct, the exercise that we're going to go through exactly a week from now, general elections in Antigua and Barbuda, yet again. Mr. Hughes, are you hearing me? All right. I tell you what, let's hope that he sorts out that issue. Perhaps he's engaged on something and he will join us momentarily. So tell us in plain terms, what exactly, so I think you've already explained what is alleged in this voice
Yes.
note, but tell us exactly what the process is to apply for a replacement card. I have a voter ID card. It expired last year, whenever.
So
And,
if your
you know,
voter's identification is expired,
right.
can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, just making sure. All right. So you, of course, will go to one of the 17 registration units across Antigua and Barbuda where you would apply in person. You must apply in person. You must present yourself in person. You would need a proof of address, which could be your driver's license. It could be a bank statement. It could be a bill in your name, just for examples. You would also need your expired voter's identification card. Now, if you can't find it, that is understandable, but you would need your expired voter's ID card in the event that you do have it. And you must present yourself in person. Again, we must emphasize that this process cannot be completed unless you present yourself in person. So hence the reason why I'm stressing that as much as possible, because the voice note, the audio that was is being circulated is is under the assumption that persons are able to apply and get their cards replaced without presenting themselves to apply for the card in their physical form. So the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission would just like to dismiss any notion of any sort, anything that insinuates that there is any behind the scenes working, any allegations, anything that goes against the Representation of the People Act, anything that goes against what we stand for as professionals, and just assure the public that the ongoing voters identification card replacement program is without any unfairness. It is a full transparent process, and it is taking place across the 17 constituencies in Antigua and Barbuda. Again, persons are encouraged. We still do have some persons who are yet to replace the expired voters ID cards. Persons are encouraged today, as you rightly said in your introduction. It is a week from now, literally a week from now. Next week Thursday is the 30th of April. That will be election day in Antigua, and we just want to encourage Antiguans and Barbudans who are yet to replace their voters ID cards to do so in a timely manner.
All right, fantastic. When is there a deadline for individuals to apply in person for this replacement card?
There's no deadline for the replacement card program. However, I think I know where you're going with this. And in the event that we have anyone who on election day is still yet to replace their voters' ID cards, our units will be open on that day as well from 8:30 up until 6. So from 8:30 a.m. up until 6 p.m., the units will be open to facilitate the process. However, do remember, again, you must present yourself in person. You must start the replacement card process. And then right there at the 17 units across Antigua and Barbuda, the special ID cards will be issued. However, again, we are encouraging persons not to wait to say, okay, you know what, ABEC says they're going to be issuing a special ID card. Let me wait until then and let me just get the process out of the way. Remember, the special ID card itself is another process in itself. chances are you will have to get a passport size photo. You
Mm-hmm.
must again present yourself in person, and that process will be facilitated at the registration units. However, we just want to encourage persons to ensure that they just get. Right now, it's relatively quiet in the units.
Mm-hmm.
The units are open from 8:30 until 7 p.m. We have seen, based on the statistics that are being circulated now, a little bit of a tapering off. Last night we had a little bit over 300 persons. The night before we had a little bit over 400 persons. So
Mm-hmm.
we are kind of watching to see whether or not the bulk of persons would have already replaced their cards. Based on our knowledge, we are the original figure which was given in terms of the number of persons whose cards are to be replaced is somewhere in the region of around 40,000. We are currently over 31,000, which, if we're doing our math correct, which means we are short of a little bit on over 9,000.
Right.
Of course, within that 9,000, we must give and take that some persons, would have traveled, and would not be able to make it back home in time. Some persons would have passed on. We must also give and take that some persons are probably just, not neither here nor there where the process is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
However, we do anticipate that in the coming week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those will be critical days where the process is concerned. And also this weekend as well, we'll be watching to see exactly what is happening. Just to remind the public that this weekend, again, this is the final weekend that the units will be open from 9 until 2, from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m., the final weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to encourage persons to take advantage of the extra time. If you have not yet replaced your voter's ID card, take advantage of the extra time. And to again stress to individuals that this is a process that is done in person, in the presence of the scrutineers, the representatives from the respective political parties as well. And just to assure the public once again that there are no behind the scenes workings where persons are getting their voters identification cards without appearing in person. I see the supervisor of elections, who also happens to be celebrating his birthday today, is online. So just putting that out there. So there he goes.
Happy birthday,
Hey,
sir.
good evening, good evening, good evening.
Happy
Hey,
birthday.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you,
I
my friend.
appreciate your perseverance. It suggests to me that, it confirms what I know already, that the elections of Antigua and Barbuda are in good hands, because you're a man that does not give up. I think you attempted no less than, 4 times to join us tonight. I'm not sure what your challenges
That's
were. We
right.
can talk about it after. But
Right.
how are you doing?
Okay. I just had to change location. I have a feeling it was my location. So as we're in the office, and so I've had to change location several times. So I think I found a
good
spot.
location. Correct.
Yeah, good
And
location.
the image is quite clear, and I'm hearing you quite clearly. I suspect our listeners and
Right.
viewers are hearing you quite clearly. Thanks so much for joining us.
Mhm.
And on your birthday, no less.
Yes,
So I
my
really
friend.
appreciate that even more.
I know my
How-
birthday, no less. Yes, yes.
yeah. Some people don't work on their birthday, but you don't have that choice, right?
I don't have that choice at all.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah. Duty calls.
Have duty calls, national duty. Have there been any formal complaints though, coming that may have been associated with these allegations? Have there been any formal complaints in writing or verbally?
I presume we're referring to
They
the
have
press
not.
Oh,
statement that we sent out
yes,
earlier.
The
yes.
press
I'm
release,
sorry.
yes, he's on the press
Okay.
release.
All right.
Correct.
All right. No, we haven't received any formal complaints.
No formal complaints. All right, fair enough. So we've walked through the basic check. Well, we've walked through the process, but if you can just give us some of the safeguards that are in place, what a voter must present, what checks are done before the actual replacement card is issued. And Alyssa, I think, touched on some of what the person has to present. But in terms of the checks that are done before the person gets that replacement card, could you just run through those with us?
All right. And so I'm quite sure, having missed what Mrs. Graham would have spoken to earlier, that she would have outlined the process as it obtains in the registration unit, in that you must present yourself in order to be
In
validated.
person.
And she would have spoken, Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We keep saying in person, but that is.
Yes.
Yeah, you must present yourself in person. On one media outlet today, I said it sounds a little redundant, but at least so that the electorate understand, you must present yourself in person. You can't send somebody else in order to replace your voter's ID card.
And what's the reason for that? The
Simply
fingerprint?
because, not just the fingerprint, you have to show up. It's you. It's your process. Bottom line is, it's your process. You are the one conducting or registering, and you cannot send somebody else to do it. Of course, as you've said, it's validated with the fingerprints, and you can't send someone with your fingers or your prints.
Of course.
I mean, we watch a lot of movies, but nothing is must. Yeah. And all, as I like to say, all 10.
Yeah.
So
all 10
8
digits.
fingers, 2 thumbs. Must be placed on the machine. Must be captured to open and then to seal or to close. And so afterwards, once you would have completed that process, that receipt, a copy of that receipt, is given to you. One registration unit, and another is brought to the head office, and a management sheet is prepared to substantiate the claim that Ian Hughes would have presented himself to revalidate. The scrutineers get a copy of that, which I think there are about 8 names that the sheet would allow at a time. So if you have 64 electors coming in on that day to renew, that's 8 sets of documents, and they're all handwritten. So the time that it takes to write that, you're then able to at least double check what you would have in your book, because you also have to keep a book, a log, according to law, as well as what the scrutineers also record. So they're able to double check, do their checks and balances. That document is presented to the data entry department. It's and whomever it is in data entry that's signing on that particular morning. That goes through another data entry clerks, take each form, and they will then do the check in the system. Once that it's on to the next phase, where the cards are then prepared to be printed. Once
Mr. Hughes,
where another set
Mr. Hughes,
will, they will then for quality assurance ensure that.
I think Mr. Hughes' internet. It seems as though the Abex internet is giving some trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for the audio quality that is a little suspect. Tell you what, let's go to a couple of messages, share some messages from all our various partners and sponsors for tonight's segment. And hopefully on the other side, we will have Mr. Ian Hughes and Alyssa Graham back with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elisa Graham, the Public Relations Officer for the Antigua and Barbuda Electoral Commission. As part of our ongoing commitment to fairness, transparency, and accuracy, transparent ballot boxes will be utilized in the upcoming general elections. The transparent ballot box ensures greater transparency, enhanced confidence, improved security, a modern voting experience. Voters will be able to clearly see that the ballot box is empty before voting begins and watch as ballots are securely deposited throughout the day. Remember, your vote will remain secret, secure, and confidential. I encourage all eligible voters in Antigua and Barbuda to participate in the upcoming general elections and be a part of this step towards electoral democracy. This is a message brought to you by the Antigua and Barbuda
The US has slapped visa sanctions on the people of Antigua and Barbuda because of the Gaston Brown government's policies. But more bad news is about to come if they remain in office. The European Union is set to impose its own visa sanctions by the end of the year. The Gaston Brown regime is unable to do what it takes to ensure that the sanctions are removed and new ones are not added. The United States and Europe are now looking for a new government that they can work with. That is why a change of government is essential.
We're gonna chase those crazy ballheads out of town.
Remove Gaston Brown and Labour and watch the old sanctions be removed. Antigua and Barbuda, it's time for a new government that finally works for you. Vote the United Progressive Party.
Let the whole place blaze. Let the future better brighter days. Hands in the air, let me hear you say we voting for change today. Vote for the sun.
Are you ready to paint? Casada Paints and Supplies Inc. is the perfect place to start. We are the official distributors of Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams, with over 150 years of innovation and experience, offers more than 1,500 paint colors to choose from. Our color palettes are handpicked by professional designers, making it easy to coordinate colors throughout your home or business. Visit us on the Utility Drive, Casada Gardens, or call 562-9450. All you have to do is visit or call Casada Paints.
My friends, we all feel it at the store. Thanks to God above, it is peaceful here. But the wars and chaos around the world means higher prices and an uncertain future. The world is entering a new era. And so is Antigua and Barbuda. On election day, you must ask yourselves, which leader and team is strong enough, steady enough to see our country through? We offer a renaissance in changing times. We repealed the personal income tax, increased the minimum wage, increased public sector wages, increased social security and occupational pensions to put more money into your pockets. We expanded the food voucher program, expanded the zero-rated ABSD on essential foods, and rolled out affordable broadband. We are literally building new hotels. We expanded reverse osmosis plants to provide more water. And we have ongoing roadworks that are taking place in every single constituency. As I said before, the world is entering a new era, and there's a renaissance in Antigua and Barbuda. On election day, do not take a risk on a leader and a team that's just not ready. Let's keep Antigua and Barbuda in strong and safe hands.
All right, we're back with Twin Island Media Live, a pre-election edition, continuing our series of programs focusing on the upcoming general elections, which is going to be held exactly a week from now. So all this time next week, we're going to be covering and watching what's going to be taking place with the general election results. And want to thank, certainly want to thank our technical support for sorting us out with respect to those messages. We seem to be having some difficulty with our friends at the Electoral Commission. I'm sure many of you can pick that up, but hopefully we'll be able to continue at least for a few more minutes. Alyssa Graham, you're hearing me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, fantastic. If, let us say, the ABEC has asked for, credible reports to be made if necessary and if appropriate to the commission. If that is done, what steps are going to be taken to address whatever irregularities that may exist, or is it difficult to prove a negative? You can tell me how you'd respond to that.
Well, first of all, as you rightfully indicated, there must be proof, whether it be, well, preferably in writing. And of course, the commission will do its investigations as well to figure out whether or not any of these allegations have any are solid. Um,
Right.
the interesting thing about these type of allegations over the years that has been observed is they normally surface closer to the general election. We are not sure. Well, I can assume, but I'm not going to do that, what the motive or motives are. However, they normally just surface around a particular time, and then the election happens, and then afterwards, you hardly ever hear about these allegations as well. What our concern is, though, is that at this point in time, we are in our preparatory mode where we are the message is to encourage the electorate, persons who are yet to replace their voters' ID cards, to replace so if they wish to exercise their franchise on April 30th. We cannot afford, and actually not just us as a body, but the nation of Antigua and Barbuda cannot afford in any way to have these allegations just continuously being spurted out. The thing is, we already have as well our observers, international and regional observers who are already on the ground as well as coming in over the weekend. And of course, these are some of the things that they will be listening out for and looking forward to hear in certain instances as they put together their reports. So again, I think as a collective, putting not just for the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission, but the country of Antigua and Barbuda. We want to present a positive, fair, transparent, inclusive process. And again, it's not that we're saying that in the event that anything happens, it will not be addressed. If you have proof that is happening, instead of just talking about it, let us know what is really taking place.
Okay, completely understand. Now, there was a suggestion in your release that things have tapered off in terms of is it in terms of the collection, if I'm not mistaken, is the collection, or is it the application for the replacement
The
card?
applications, we're looking at the
Okay.
applications process for the last
Right.
maybe like 3-4 days, starting with last weekend coming into the week. We do know that there are some persons who are, of course, going to find themselves in that last minute couple of days. However, again, we just want to stress the importance of getting that process done early, which is an advantage to the elector as well, especially if, of course, you have time constraints. So we want persons to take advantage of the time that they have now when it's quiet. When there are no long lines. I remember when we started, when it's increased a few weeks ago, that was one of the complaints that we had. Oh my goodness, the lines are long. Persons left, persons were calling into radio stations, they were posting to the Facebook page, they were calling myself, they were calling Mr. Hughes, they were calling other members of staff, the lines are too long. And then now that it's quiet, you're still kind of like wondering, okay, so we have these people again. So we just want persons to realize that yes, everything has a season. And for this particular week, even though, of course, we realize that the numbers are not as high as they were in previous weeks, we do know that there's still a number of persons who are yet to replace their cards. So we are encouraging those persons to go out and take advantage of the timing, 8:30 until 7 p.m. from Monday to Friday, and then from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, bearing in mind that the election is next week, Thursday. So you're basically looking at this week, this final weekend, and then up until next week, Thursday, that's the final day. Because of course, we go into a holiday and then we're back to regular hours of operation the following week.
All right. Are you able to, I know I asked you this question maybe 2 weeks ago, and I recall you saying that it's something that you all were considering or working on. Of the number of persons who have presented themselves to apply for a replacement card, how many have come to collect? Do you have those numbers at all, or have an idea?
No, we do not have those numbers. We don't have those numbers. However, we are in the process of calling persons, the registration officers and the registration personnel in the respective units. They're in the process of calling individuals to collect their voters' ID cards, and this is being done on a daily basis. We encourage persons, if you see any, and I can say this, any numbers 76490. And there's some other numbers that usually come after that, but it's normally 76490. Those numbers are attached to our registration officers, whether it be 47, whether it be 38, whether it be 2734, 76490. Those numbers are attached to the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission registration officers.
Okay, I understand. 764. Okay.
Yes.
90. Okay.
The
All right.
we would have posted, well, since you're online, and I'm sure you could probably pull it up, we would have posted the list of numbers for the registration officers in the respective
Okay.
constituencies on our website, www.abec.gov.ag. It is also on our Facebook page, the Antigua Barbuda
Okay.
Electoral Commission. It is also on our WhatsApp channel, What's Happening at ABEC, and it would have been sent out to the media as well. So for
Okay.
persons who would like to, those of you who are hearing my voice as I speak, if you'd like to get access to that list, you can actually check out the respective places there.
All right. Fantastic. The general election
Go
is
to the units.
or go to the unit. If somebody comes in tomorrow and they apply for the replacement card, how long will it take for them to get the replacement card? Because I
Well-
got that question last night of someone who, for some reason, has not come to get their replacement card.
Well, cards are currently being printed on a daily, weekly basis currently, and it is with the intention of furnishing the respective registration units with these cards. And I know for sure that as soon as the registration officers have these cards on hand, they start calling individuals. Our challenge is that we're still having persons who are fearful of collecting their cards because of the fact that they think, okay, I may lose it. So you guys hold it for us until the time I'll come and collect it. We do have people telling us that all up to now.
Yeah.
Our reservation with that is, I mean, yes, okay, you know what, your card is going to be safe with us. But on election day, when you actually need that card to vote, and you realize that you're going to have to wait in line to actually get that card,
Right.
we don't want that situation happening. And exactly, and then wait in line to go and vote. Yes, you're given mandated to get that 4 hours from your employer, but of course, I would imagine that you want to be as productive as possible where that 4 hours is concerned. And again, we do not want to build a culture where our electorate becomes frustrated because, of course, that basically does not necessarily reflect what we want to see where the process is concerned. So again, Antiguans and Barbudans, if you're hearing my voice, if you have received a call from the registration unit to collect your replacement card, please do so in a timely manner. Take advantage again of the time that you have now. For those of you who are yet to replace the expired voter's ID card, and you're just sitting there thinking, you know what, I want to vote, but my card is expired. I really want to go out and vote, but my card is expired. What are you waiting for? Get it done. Get it done now.
Completely.
Well, not now as in now, but yeah, definitely get it done now.
Yes, completely understand. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to chat between now and next week, Thursday, because I imagine things are only going to get busier as time goes by.
Yes.
But I have been a part of coverage of the election result on the night of election on whatever platform. I believe we are going to be doing our thing in a couple of days. How is there any way you can give an idea of how early we might have an idea of how the election results are
Are you
going
really
to go?
going to ask me that question, Darren? Are you
mean,
really going to do that?
I mean, it's like, you
As
ask
I
yourself,
said on one media house today,
yeah.
nothing has changed where that process is concerned since 2023.
We should know by
So
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Jack, or even earlier.
yes,
Oh,
so
Lord, Jack.
prepare yourselves accordingly for the count. We do know that the largest constituency, if not the largest one, is St. George. That has 17 boxes. And let me just go through the list so that you can mentally prepare yourself as well. So you have St. John City West, that is 10 polling stations, so that's 10 boxes. St. John City East, that's 8 polling stations, so that's 8 boxes. St. John City South, that's 8 polling stations as well with 8 boxes. St. John's Rural West, 17 polling stations with 17 boxes. St. John's Rural South, 11 polling stations with 11 boxes. St. John's Rural East, 15 boxes. We move
How many
on to
polling
St.
stations? How many polling stations?
15 boxes, 15 polling stations. So
Oh,
one
okay,
box per
okay.
polling stations.
Okay, I got you.
St. John's Rural North, 12 polling stations, 12 boxes. St. Mary's North, 16 polling stations, 16 boxes.
Okay.
St. Mary's South, 8 polling stations, 8 boxes. All Saints East and St. Luke, 14 polling stations, 14 boxes. All Saints West, 15 polling stations, 15 boxes. St. George, 17 polling stations, 17 boxes. St. Peter, 11 polling stations, 11 boxes. St. Philip North, 7 polling stations, 7 boxes. St. Philip South, 11 polling stations, 11 boxes. St. Paul, 11 polling stations, 11 boxes.
Okay.
And then Barbuda, 5 polling stations, 5 boxes.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
So
I
nothing
completely
has
understand.
really significantly changed since the 2023 general election. Overall, we have 190 polling stations.
Right.
So you're looking at 190 boxes.
190
Of
boxes.
course, yes. Of course, based on the allocation, those will be counted by the returning officers in the respective constituencies, box by box. Yes.
Resources. By the way, and they're counted at a central point in each constituency.
Yes, let me go through the counting centers with you,
Okay,
since
go.
we are also on air where that's concerned. So the
Right.
St. John City West, we have that will be taking place at the Villa Primary School. St. John City East is the Princess Margaret School. St.
Of course.
John City South, Mary E. Pickett Primary School.
Yeah.
St. John's Rural West, the Multipurpose Cultural Exhibition Center. St. John's Rural South, the Golden Grove Primary School. St. John's Rural East, the Clear Hall Secondary School. St. John's Rural North, the Cedar Grove Primary School. St. Mary's North, the Dr. Alistair Francis Campus, formerly the Antigua State College. St. Mary's South, the Earlings Primary School. All Saints East and St. Luke, the Irene B. Williams Secondary School. All Saints West, the Seaview Farm Primary School. St. George, the Potters Primary School. St. Peter, the Parham Primary School. St. Philip North, the Glanvilles Community Center, which is basically where the by-election count took place as well. For St. Paul, the Liberta Primary School. And for Barbuda, the Holy Trinity School. So those are the 17 counting centers for the upcoming general election. And also just a reminder with regards to the returning officers for the respective registration, for the respective constituencies. We have for St. John City West, Janelle Benjamin, St. John City East, Larissa Francis, St. John City South, Cleopatra James, St. John's Rural West, Ralston Nikio, St. John's Rural South, Janelle Wenner Watts, St. John's Rural East, Kadeen Gomes, St. John's Rural North, Gwendolyn Willock James, St. Mary's North, Birchfield Osborne, St. Mary's South, Denise Parker, All Saints East and St. Luke, Denmore Roberts, All Saints West, Thomasine Greenaway White, St. George, Vivica Shadrach, St. Peter, Pastor Stephen Samuels, St. Philip North, Avanella Benjamin, St. Philip South, Joy and Harrigan, St. Paul, Linroy Adams, and for Barbuda, Lon May Benjamin Hughes. And just a reminder as well that there will be a total of 37 candidates contesting the upcoming general election. I don't need to go through all of them because I think by now we should be familiar with them. But we have three
We're familiar with the
independent.
main ones. We're familiar with the
Well,
main ones.
here's the reason why I'm going to get to the
Yeah.
point that we have three independent candidates that will be
Right.
contesting the general election in this time around. We have Mr. Nigel Bascos from the Missing Link Party, and that is in St. John's Rural West. Then we have Gail Pero Georges. She will be an independent candidate in the St. George's constituency. And then we have a first timer, Mr. Alan Weston, and he will be contesting the polls contesting as a candidate in the St. Paul constituency. So those are the three independent candidates. And then I think we're with regards to the Antigua Barbuda Labour Party and the United Progressive Party, persons are more than familiar with those individuals.
I suspect so. Now you have the returning officers, right? Those are the people in charge. So you go.
Correct.
Have that? Right. But supporting them, you have to have polling clerks and other...
Yes, you have the presiding officer. So the returning officer is the person that is in charge of facilitating the process throughout the constituency. Then each returning officer has each of the polling stations. They are facilitated by a presiding officer. So the presiding officer is the person that is in charge in the respective polling stations. That is normally the individual, not normally, but that is the individual who you will see presiding over the ballot box. That is the person that is standing right where the ballot box is, where the ballot box is on the table, and the presiding officer is behind that table. Then right next to that, maybe about a few spaces on, you will have the poll clerks. You will have two poll clerks. And then right next to maybe like a few little spaces in between, depending on how big the polling station is, you will have the agents for the political parties, one from the United Progressive Party, one from the Antigua Barbuda Labour Party. And in the events where there are independent candidates, they will have their agent as well in the polling stations.
And are all these, well, you've already spoken about the senior staff, but are they all staffed? Do you have all the human resources that you need?
Yes, we do. We have the teams are led by the returning officers. Then we have the presiding officers. Then we have the poll clerks, and then we also will have our information clerks or our customer service representatives. Now, these individuals, they are not inside of the polling stations. You'll meet them when you enter the poll. Well, they're not physically inside of the polling stations, but you meet them at the entrance of most of the polling stations, because they are tasked with the responsibility of checking through the register just in case Darren shows up and for some strange reason, he doesn't remember where it is that he's supposed to be going to vote. You can actually approach one of these individuals to ask, am I at the right place? Am I at the right polling station? They will also be checking your cards. So in the event that, unfortunately, up to the time that you're hearing myself, you're hearing Mr. Hughes, you're hearing the chairman of the Electoral Commission, you're being told by your parents, whosoever, or the different mediums through which the information is being shared, and you still have not checked your card on election day, and you show up with an expired card at a polling station, these individuals, our information clerks, they will take the card from you and say, you know what, Darren, unfortunately, your card is expired, and they'll instruct you as to what it is that you need to do in order to initiate the process and then come back to exercise your franchise.
Which is what? Come to headquarters and get a temporary card?
No. So this time, and I'm glad you asked the question, this time we are not facilitating that process at our headquarters. It will be done in the registration units. So you will go to the registration units. However, you will still need a passport size photo. You will start the process to replace your card, but you must start the process to replace your card first in the registration units, and then you'll be issued a temporary ID card to exercise your franchise. But again, why would we want to wait until then to do this? This is my this is my, this is my issue. This is my
I
challenge. You have enough time,
yeah.
extended hours,
Hmm.
get the right card. Because the thing about it, when you get the special ID card, that is a um um temporary document. It
Yeah.
is just to allow you to go to the polling station, mark
Hmm.
your X or your tick or whatever mark you plan to make, and then you leave that document with the presiding officer that is left at the polling station. So
Right.
if you still need your voter's ID card as a document, whether it be for, you know, identification purposes or business purposes or whatever it is that you need it for, you will
Right.
still need a physical card. So
Yeah.
why not just get it out of the way one time?
Yeah. Completely agree. Completely agree. But some folks, I don't know if it's the excitement they like. They just
The
naturally last
adrenaline rush.
minute. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I try to avoid that sort of thing. And I think most people like me just try to avoid that, and I can completely appreciate that. On a personal note, Alyssa, how are you and the team holding up? I can't imagine how difficult. Because how many interviews you do a day?
I have stopped counting actually. There was a time where I could actually tell myself, okay, I'm gonna do X, I'm gonna do Y. I'm very well supported, of course, by our
Mm,
supervisor of elections, Mr. Ian S. Hughes, as well as the chairman of the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission, Ambassador His Excellency Arthur Thomas.
mhm.
So
He never come on
we
with me,
have
and I
been.
don't know why. Tell him
Pardon?
he never come on with me. I don't understand.
Okay, so here's
Even though,
what
yeah.
when you finish with me, I will share his contact so you can definitely contact him because I'm sure for
All right.
sure he will be available.
All right. No problem.
So we have been making our rounds and we have been
Hmm.
ensuring that of course we um go to visit, call, or we are invited to the respective radio stations, television stations as well.
Hmm.
Yes, because there's no Point TV and there's ABS in terms of
Hmm.
TV, and
Hmm.
indirectly this is a
Big
television
TV.
as well too because we're on a screen, we're
Hmm.
sharing a screen. So
Correct.
I'm very, very grateful for the relationship partnership that we have with our media colleagues
Hmm.
over the last couple of years, and we continue to build those partnerships. I would
Yeah.
just also like to publicly thank the media for the role that they're playing in ensuring that the public is adequately informed, because of course we have our avenues through which we share information, but with the extension that we receive, being invited to speak on programs and promote the activities and the procedures
Yeah.
that we have here at the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission. It goes a long way, even though of course we still have individuals who say they never hear, they never see, and they never, all of that. But we're humans, so we understand. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're very happy. We know that of
Yeah.
course there's always room for improvement. And as we finish this process, we normally have a postmortem
Mm.
after every process that we do. So to
Right.
see how we can further improve on our
Hmm.
outputs. So that will be happening again this time around. And as well as the supervisor of election, Mr. Hughes, he will prepare his election report, which
Hmm.
after it goes to Parliament, the public will actually have access to, can purchase through the Electoral Commission, so
Right.
that persons can become familiar with exactly what it is that would have occurred, just in case, they would have missed it.
All right. So you guys are heading home now. You and your team heading home, or y'all working
No,
again for another
we
hour?
actually still at work. We have early mornings and late nights.
So y'all have bed and so up there?
That's a very good suggestion. But no, I think most of us like to go home.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, because it's getting late. Anyway, listen, Alyssa, I shan't keep you any longer. We'll see, depending on how things go between now and next week, Thursday. I don't know if there may be an opportunity to speak.
I'll definitely share the chairman's contact with you because I do
Okay.
think that that would be a good interview to have as well.
Right.
Of course,
Sure.
he's a lawyer by profession, so some of
Of course.
the extra the the technicalities,
Right.
he has a way of putting them in a way for everyone to really do understand. So
Okay.
definitely, I will share that contact with you so that you can have him as a guest on your show.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And
And thank you so much for having me.
on behalf of a grateful nation, if I may be so bold to say so, Thank you so much for your service and the fact that you're going to be still, I mean, at this hour, 10 minutes to 9, working. I'm sure you must have I know you have a supportive family, so that
I
goes
do.
without
I do.
saying.
Grateful for that
Uh,
as well.
and yes, and all the members of the ABEC. Thank you
Yes,
for your
yes. We do
service
have
collectively.
understanding households.
Yeah. So take good care. Be safe, please.
Thank
Above
you.
all else, be
Thank you for
safe,
having me.
hydrate,
All righty.
and we'll be in touch. All right, that was Alyssa Graham. She's the Public Relations Officer, the very hard-working Public Relations Officer of the Antigua Barbuda Electoral Commission, giving us a quick update on a number of things. Sort of going through the process and explaining the difference between a presiding officer and a returning officer and whose responsibilities is this, that, or the other task. The polling clerks, the customer service agents, I'm learning as I go along. But I think I have a fairly good appreciation. I think most people do. These are very interesting times. For those of you who may not be aware, today seems to have been a very interesting day in terms of press releases that have come out. And the chairman of the Antigua Barbuda Labour Party was compelled to issue a statement in response to some allegations that have been in circulation. I suppose this is the sort of thing that happens in the lead up to an election. I don't know that this is unique in any particular regard, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's share a couple of quick messages. I think that's what we'll do. And then I'll just read the statement from the chairman of the Labour Party, and I'll read a statement from the United Progressive Party. And this has to do with some allegations that are in circulation. I suspect we may be touching some of those points tomorrow night because we have a special guest who purports to know why we're having the issues we're having with the United States government. And his assertion or his suggestion is that it has a lot to do with how Antigua does business. And, I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Of course, I want to be mindful of certain things, but hey, it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say because many people have questions on their minds about what on earth is going on with our these visa restrictions that have been imposed on Antigua and Dominica in particular. But I hear there are other strictures that have been put in place for other countries as well, in the Caribbean. So we'll talk all about that. But I'll share those statements right after these few messages from our sponsors.
Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP.
Are you ready to paint? Casada Paints and Supplies Inc. is the perfect place to start. We are the official distributors of Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams, with over 150 years of innovation and experience, offers more than 1,500 paint colors to choose from. Our color palettes are handpicked by professional designers, making it easy to coordinate colors throughout your home or business. Visit us on the Utility Drive, Casada Gardens, or call 562-9450. All you have to do is visit or call Casada Paints.
The US has slapped visa sanctions on the people of Antigua and Barbuda because of the Gaston Brown government's policies. But more bad news is about to come if they remain in office. The European Union is set to impose its own visa sanctions by the end of the year. The Gaston Brown regime is unable to do what it takes to ensure that the sanctions are removed and new ones are not added. The United States and Europe are now looking for a new government that they can work with. That is why a change of government is essential.
We're gonna chase those crazy ballheads out of town.
Remove Gaston Brown and Labour and watch the old sanctions be removed. Antigua and Barbuda, it's time for a new government that finally works for you. Vote the United Progressive Party.
Let the whole place blaze. Let the future paint a brighter days. Hands in the air, let me hear you say we voting
Hello, everyone. My name is Elisa Graham, the Public Relations Officer for the Antigua and Barbuda Electoral Commission. As part of our ongoing commitment to fairness, transparency, and accuracy, transparent ballot boxes will be utilized in the upcoming general elections. A transparent ballot box ensures greater transparency, enhanced confidence, improved security, a modern voting experience. Voters will be able to clearly see that the ballot box is empty before voting begins and watch as ballots are securely deposited throughout the day. Remember, your vote will remain secret, secure, and confidential. I encourage all eligible voters in Antigua and Barbuda to participate in the upcoming general elections and be a part of this step towards electoral democracy. This is a message brought to you by the Antigua and Barbuda Electoral.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're about to wrap. It's a relatively quiet night. You know, as soon as I was about to speak, something went down the wrong hatch. But yes, I did promise to read a statement by the chairman of the Anti-Barbuda Labour Party, EP Chet Green, and I'll just read it. I don't know if I'm going to read the entire thing, but it'll give you, a gist of it. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party categorically rejects as false, malicious, and deliberately deceptive the so-called letter circulating on a recently created website and purporting to seek action by the United States Attorney General against the government of Antigua and Barbuda and members of the Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party. The document claims to have been issued by an entity calling itself Caribbean Anti-Corruption Association. There is no evidence that any such association or organization exists. The letter itself is a concoction of recycled accusations, wild assertions, and politically motivated falsehoods advanced for years by leaders of the United Progressive Party. Its fabrication is further exposed by its own obvious errors. Among them, the letter lists as copied recipient Ambassador Linda Tagliatella. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's the former ambassador of the U.S. to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. Through Ambassador Tagliatella though she left office at the end of 2023, more than 2 years ago. That basic error alone demonstrates that the authors were dealing not in fact, but in fiction. The website on which this falsehood has been published is equally suspect. It bears the name mariabirdbrown.com, all one word, yet carries material attacking Maria Bird Brown, her husband, Prime Minister Gaston Brown, and others. No reasonable person would and could believe that Mrs. Brown would create or host defamatory attacks upon herself and her family. The use of her name in this way is plainly intended to mislead the public and to manufacture a false appearance of authenticity. The so-called letter is a political smear claiming to be an official communication. It strings together a litany of allegations that the UPP and spokespersons have repeated for years without proof. Many of these claims have already been ventilated publicly and tested in courts in Antigua and Barbuda and in the United States, where they've been dismissed without merit. Official inquiries to the Office of the United States Attorney General confirm that no such letter has been received. In any event, that office does not act on submissions from persons or organizations that are not verifiable. This is therefore simply false. It is a calculated lie from beginning to end. It is now evident that this fabrication forms part of a deliberate attempt to deceive the people of Antigua and Barbuda. During the general election campaign, unable to defeat the ABLP on record, performance, policy, and leadership, the opposition has resorted to anonymous propaganda, invented organizations, and fabricated credibility. The people of Antigua and Barbuda are entitled to ask a simple question. If a political party is prepared to lie in order to gain office, how can it be trusted to govern truthfully, honestly, and responsibly? The Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party remains focused on the future of this country, on its record of achievement, and on its continuing plans for national progress. We will not be distracted by cowardly falsehoods circulated from behind a mask. We urge the public to reject this fabrication. All right, so what I'm going to do now in the interest of fairness and balance, now that I've read that little piece of thing. By the way, the statement is on Twin Island's Facebook page. And just to let you know, for those who have friends who say they want to follow Twin Island, but they don't have Facebook, we're also streaming live on YouTube now. All right, Twin Island Media. You just search for Twin Island Media on YouTube and you'll be able to find us. All right, very quickly, stop the blame game. UPP rejects ABLP spin on Washington letter. And I'll read it in its entirety out of fairness, right? The United Progressive Party takes note of the statement issued today by ABLP Chairman Chet Green and finds it to be a predictable exercise in political deflection. The UPP makes it abundantly clear that it has no connection to any anonymous website nor to the document being circulated, and the ABLP's pathetic attempt to attach political blame without evidence is irresponsible, misleading, and intended to intimidate. Instead of addressing the growing questions being asked in respect of the letter in the public domain, the ABLP has again chosen to manufacture outrage and construct a narrative of conspiracy. What Mr. Green's response reveals is an administration that is unable to respond to legitimate scrutiny without resorting to personal attacks. This is not leadership, it is political damage control. The public, including our nationals abroad, is dealing with serious concerns. The US visa ban and bond, the underlying reasons for these restrictions, and the effect they're having on our education prospects, medical treatment, and business transactions. Therefore, issues raised in the circulated letter are matters that require answers, not cheap press releases designed to insult opponents and seek sympathy. The UPP further rejects the suggestion that civil society voices should be dismissed because the Brown administration finds their questions uncomfortable. In a democracy, scrutiny is not sabotage and accountability is not an attack. The ABLP is confident in its record and should welcome an open, if it is confident in its record, it should open an inquiry, transparent process, and factual clarification rather than attempting to smear and silence critics through blanket accusations. The UPP remains focused, disciplined, and committed to offering the country a credible alternative to what now masquerades as good governance. We will not be intimidated nor misrepresented into silence. All right, so those are the two statements there from one from the ABLP chairman, and this just says is a statement from the United Progressive Party. It does not attribute any, well, it doesn't say who wrote it, all right? So just bear that in mind. It doesn't matter, it's a statement on the party's official letterhead, and it was sent to me by the chairperson and the campaign manager, so I got it from two sources, so it's pretty much on the money. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't say that I'm shocked that this is happening. In the lead up to a general election, all sorts of rumors and allegations. I remember last election, there was, the whole, Antigua Airways situation, all the Africans that came here. There was supposed to be a plane load full of, I don't know how much money that was supposed to fund certain things. And there were all sorts of things being speculated on in the last general elections. I just cited two. I guess it's typical. It happens. It happens here. It happens in the United States. And, it happens up and down the Caribbean chain. And it's just one of the unfortunate byproducts of the democracy, I guess. I see something coming in here. Is it from Morris Merchant? Announcement from the Treasury Department. Oh, okay. Yeah, want me to read this one? Let me read this one. Public service announcement from the Treasury Department. Let's see if it's somebody getting money. Let me see. Notification to former government employees, outstanding matters with the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department, Ministry of Finance and Corporate Governance, Government of Antigua and Barbuda hereby gives public notice that the individuals listed below are required to make... So I see some names here. There's a list of names of people who have matters with Treasury. I don't know if this means you have to go collect money. Is that it? That's interesting. I've never seen anything like this. The Treasury Department has outstanding matters to address with each of these individuals and respectfully request their prompt response. If you're one of the individuals named herein, and if you know the current whereabouts or contact information of the persons appearing on this list, you're kindly asked to assist by providing their contact details to the Treasury Department. Individuals responding to this notice are asked to provide the following when making contact with Treasury: full legal name, current contact telephone number, valid email address, a legible copy of valid government-issued photo ID, and the ministry or department where you last worked. I wonder what that's about. Anybody know what that's about? I must find out. I'm sure I'll find out, but I'm on live, so it's difficult to find out now. All right, but yes, we are now a week away from a general election, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not sure what decision some of you have made, if at all. Some of you might be waiting, still trying to decide, waiting to see how the campaign unfolds, see where the wind is blowing, put your finger up and decide, okay, the momentum seems to be going this way or the momentum seems to be going that way. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out. We're going to continue our pre-election or advanced election coverage tomorrow night. As I mentioned, we have a special guest who's going to be joining us tomorrow, and he's going to be sharing. I'm looking forward to that conversation because I want to hear what he has to say, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a spirited, because I'm not one to take things hook, line, and sinker. So I'm going to hear I'm going to hear him out, give him an opportunity to say what he has to say within the bounds of legal responsibility, of course. And he's a lawyer, he says, so he knows what his limits are going to be. And I've already put him on a little notice to be careful. Y'all know I don't play when they come to that kind of thing. People's reputations mean a lot. So he's going to be joining us, and I'm really curious to hear what he has to say about the relationship between Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and the United States. So that's going to be tomorrow night's program. Then we take a little break, and then next week we'll pick it up again at the end of the weekend, heading straight into Thursday night, where we will pay attention to the count when Antiguans and Barbudans would have decided who will govern the affairs of this country for the next term of government. I can't say 5 years, but for the next term, because who knows, we might have an election again in another 2 years. I don't know. Anyway, folks, I got to run. It's just after 9 o'clock, 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks. I know it's a relatively quiet night. Last night was a lot more energy, but that's okay. Every night can't be the same. This was a night for information, and I know many of you would have gone to your various rallies and political events. So what I've noticed is that even though folks may not be on the program while we're on, many of you go overnight. So tonight, when I go to bed, it's one set of reaction or interactions, and then when I wake up in the morning, it's a totally different picture because folks get home and perhaps catch up. We appreciate that. Whatever you do, we appreciate that. We appreciate those who've opted to partner with us in the lead up to this election to help make this make sense. And we appreciate it very, very much. All our partners, we are very grateful for you. So have a good night, everybody. Be safe. God bless. And we'll see each other tomorrow night with Mr. Kenneth Ridjock. He's going to be our guest on Twin Island Media Live.